enjoy. Giving a speech titled Lesser Known Sports, give it up for Randy Zurman.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for spending your time here tonight. What I would like to share with you is some of the lesser known sports that I really enjoy. You know, growing up in Pittsburgh, you would think that I was maybe a big football fan or a baseball fan, but maybe because I was raised in a house by my mother and my grandmother, it just didn't fall that way. But less than 2 miles from my house on the very same road was a racetrack called Heidelberg Raceway. Heidelberg Raceway hosted some of the very first NASCAR races that there ever were. And when we were kids, we would go down and go up onto the hillside and watch these races. Everybody that was anybody in races back then raced at Heidelberg Raceway. I took my driver's license test in my mother's car, a 1968 SS Camaro, fire engine red, racing stripe on the seat, checkerboard seats. It was fantastic. My very first car when I was 16 years old in high school was a 66 GTO, 4-speed, 4-barrel. Motorsports were always in my blood. In St. Petersburg here, I have attended almost every Grand Prix race that there is. I used to take my kids out of elementary school on Fridays so that they could go to the races with me. So, some years ago, my son introduced me to what is the true underdog of racing and motorsports. I had never heard of it before. Drift racing. How many people here have ever been to a drift race?
That's a movie.
So drift racing started in Japan mostly by the street racers on the windy mountain roads because they would slide around all of the corners. It was also made very popular in the movie Tokyo Drift. Well, we just so happened to have a drift race here once a month, happens at a speedway up on Overton Road. Now the whole point of drift racing, let me explain to you for those of you who don't know it, it is different than any other racing. The drivers are judged on style and skill, not just on speed. So in the beginning of the race, the driver will immediately oversteer the car and put it into a slide, and it will just fishtail all the way around the track, this way and that way. And if you like the smell of burning rubber and gasoline, this is the sport for you. Yes, some of the things I really like about this sport is, one, it's only about $20 to get in. And it is the underdog of sports. For $50, if you have a rear-wheel drive car, you can take all the junk out of your trunk, put on a helmet, and you too can be a drift racer. If you do take advantage of this and go, and it is also very reasonable because kids are free, if you go to this race, take the time to walk into the pits. This is a entry-level racing. These drivers have built their own car with their own hands. Their skin knuckles will show all of the work that they put into it. They love to talk about their cars. They love to tell you that they took a motor out of this car and they put it in here and they did this and that, and they just absolutely love to talk about it. I highly recommend this if you want to introduce any of your kids to motorsports. It's exciting from the minute that the cars hit the track until you walk away. You can find out more about it on Facebook, Showtime Drift on Facebook. So that's not the only unknown sports that I like. So there's another one, and we are very, very fortunate to have it here because not every town has it. If you like violence in sport, if you like fast roller skating, then roller derby is definitely your sport. Deadly Rifle Roller Derby. It is located at 38th Avenue and 34th Street, right behind Burt Smith BMW. It is affectionately called the sleigh ground. And everything in roller derby is a play on words. The names, you know, they'll have the holiday crash and everything is just great about it. So the way roller derby works, it isn't just a bunch of girls out there skating, beating each other up. So the teams are about 15 people, 5 people at a time are in play from each team on the track. 4 of them blockers, and the other one is called the jammer, identified by a star on her helmet. The key of the game is the jammer has to get through the line, go all the way around the track, and lap the other blockers. Each time that she laps the blockers, she gains points. This is just a really fun event. It's only about $20 to get in. There's free beer, free wine, and they've got food trucks. And if that is not enough fun, they will invite you to come have a beer with them at the Wheelhouse on Central Avenue afterwards. Wow. I highly recommend going to it. Facebook, Deadly Rival Roller Derby on Facebook. Okay, that is not the end. We live in a plethora of great things to do. This is a sport that has been around since the 20s of St. Petersburg. I know everybody here has heard of it. A few of you may have done it. Shuffleboard. Now, if you have never played shuffleboard, this is fantastic. And one of the things that I really love about shuffleboard, Friday nights are free. You can bring a cooler with your own adult beverages and food. So gather together a group of 4, 6, 8 people. Go down to the shuffleboard court at Mirror Lake on Friday night. If you don't know how to play, the volunteers will help you, or the people next to you will. So these are some of the gems that I love in sports. I hope that you go enjoy them. And if you find some of these little known sports, please come and share it with me.